how far would you actually go to save someone you love? I mean, what if it meant risking everything, your life, your identity? It's such a fine line, isn't it? That razor's edge between brilliant deception and just imminent discovery. Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take a whole stack of material, dig through it, and pull out the most compelling stuff just to help you get informed fast. Today, we're diving into this really captivating story. It's from excerpts of Deceptions in the Court, Zarrin-Banu's perilous tournament infiltration. So, our mission really is to unpack the incredible cunning, the sheer daring of Zarrin-Banu. She's a master of disguise, right? And she's navigating a super treacherous court. We'll look at the tournament, the crazy dungeon infiltration bit, and the suspicion that just keeps building and building. You're basically about to see how quick thinking and, well, an iron will are just essential when your secret identity is both your greatest weapon and your biggest weakness.
Absolutely. And this story, it's really rich ground for looking at the psychology behind these high-stakes situations. Yeah, the subterfuge, we won't just look at what Zarrin-Banu does, but also the pressures, the perceptions, all the things that make her journey so incredibly perilous. It tells us a lot about deception itself.
Okay, so let's jump right in. The story kicks off right in Turan's palace courtyard. And it's electric. You've got crimson banners, war drums pounding like thundering, and these brassy trumpets just whipping the crowd up. Everyone's there, nobles in silk, commoners, just packed into the stands. And overseeing it all, the king of Turan looking stern, and next to him, the vizier. He's described as wiry, watchful, gazed like a dagger, sharp.
Does miss a thing, you imagine.
Exactly. And into the scene walks Zarrin-Banu. But not as herself. She's Zarrin-Marv, the warrior. Gleaming leather armor, silver helmet hiding half her face, bow slung across her back, looks confident. And, well, she just completely dominates the tournament. Her arrows, dead center every time. Her swordplay swift, graceful, totally unmatched. The crowd is just roaring. Even this roguish character, Jawhunger, he's described as an uyar, sort of a quick-witted trickster type.
Yeah, often found in these kinds of historical narratives.
Yeah.
An agile agent, almost.
Well, even he shouts out, grinning, Zarrin-Marv, you've conquered Turan's heart. She's perfect.
Yeah. But does that level of perfection, does it actually help or hurt her disguise here, psychologically speaking?
Well, that's the fascinating part, isn't it? Because the narrative shows how that very perfection becomes a liability, almost immediately. The vizier thinks, this newcomer is too perfect. It's like anything that seems unnaturally flawless, it makes people suspicious. It demands a closer look.
Yeah, it's basic human psychology, really. If something looks too good to be true, you start looking for the trick. You know, her perfection is the trick, in a way.
That makes sense. And Zarrin-Banu, she seems to get this because she tackles the suspicion straight away. She starts charming the vizier, spinning these tales about fake heroic deeds in far-off lands. Voice steady, sounds bold. And later at the feast, there's this bit where she turns down wine, claims she swore an oath to shun wine until my enemies fall. The vizier just smiles, lets it go, for now. What's the strategy there, beyond just being charming?
Well, it's more than just charm. It's quite sophisticated, actually. It's like narrative layering, something you see in intelligence work. She gives him this believable but totally fabricated backstory, something for his mind to chew on, you know? It diverts him from what she's doing now to this past he can't easily check.
Ah, okay. Creating a distraction.
Exactly. Adds layers to her persona, makes her harder to figure out. And the wine thing, it seems small, but it's calculated. Keeps her sharp, avoids any slips of the tongue, and it adds to that mystique. Reinforces the whole oath-bound warrior thing she's going for.
So even as she's winning, being celebrated, she's already under scrutiny. Those eyes are watching. This triumph is really just the first step into, well, a very dangerous game in Turan's court.
Right.
But she doesn't stop there, right? After the tournament, she doesn't just lay low. She uses that fame.
Immediately leverages it.
Yeah, it's really smart. She uses her win to get the guards on her side, build some trust, and then she comes up with this plan, proposing a security check of the dungeon.
Which is audacious, really.
Totally. The vizier is intrigued, still suspicious maybe, but he agrees, gives her permission. And you can just picture the scene down there. Turan's dungeon, grim, dark, damp stone walls, torches flickering, the sound of chains echoing, stale air, just awful.
A real labyrinth.
Right. And Zarrin-Banu goes down there, torch in hand, finds her brother, Bahram. He's gaunt, chained to the wall. And it's this incredibly tense, emotional moment. She lifts her helmet just enough for him to see her face. He whispers, like, in total disbelief, Zarrin, you're here. How?
Such high stakes.
And her voice is soft, but totally firm. For our family, Nothing is impossible. She tells him she'll free him during the big palace feast, when the guards are distracted. But how does she possibly keep it together under that kind of pressure?
It takes incredible mental control, fortitude. People who pull this off often do something called pre-visualization. They mentally rehearse it all, combine that with a really powerful motive, saving her brother, and it lets her function despite the fear, because danger does show up, right?
Yeah, inevitably. A guard just lingering nearby catches a glimpse, gets suspicious.
But Zarrin-Banu, she's so quick, just plays it off instantly, pretends she's checking the locks on the cell, gives him this charming smile, and it works. For now, anyway. It's like a adaptive improvisation, thinking on her feet.
It's amazing how these tiny moments, these near misses, just keep piling up. Later, back in the courtyard, she meets with the Jahangir again. Remember the Uyar?
The trickster, yeah. He's been gathering intel.
Right. And he says something funny like, Zarrin, you're either mad or a genius. Maybe both. Classic Jahangir.
And probably true.
And she just smirks back, totally focused. Free Bahram, and then we'll see what Turan's made of. They plan the escape for the feast, using the chaos, but you can feel the tension ratcheting up with the vizier watching and now this guard incident.
The margin for error is shrinking. Fast.
Okay, so the dungeon visit is done. Now the scene shifts. It's the grand feast. The palace is totally transformed. Lavish nighttime. Halls are glowing with torches. Dancers in silk are swirling around. You hear the music, right? Santur and daf, these traditional Persian instruments.
Creates this vibrant, almost hypnotic atmosphere. Rich sounds.
Exactly. And the air smells like spiced wine. Zarrin-Banu, still playing Zarrin-Mard, is mingling. But every single move is calculated, trying not to draw attention.
Which must be exhausting in itself.
Absolutely. But the vizier, his eyes are like magnets, just following her everywhere. And then comes this really tense moment. He corners her, flat out demands she take off her helmet. Reveal the face of Turan's champion, he says.
Wow. Direct challenge.
Yeah. But Zarrin-Banu, cool as ever, deflects again. Quick excuse. An old battle scar keeps my face hidden. And the vizier backs off. But you can see the doubt growing in his eyes. How does she keep pulling these deflections off? That seems so simple.
It's about plausible deniability, but she's also creating a kind of calculated vulnerability, a battle scar that's believable for a warrior. This sounds personal, maybe a bit painful. It's relatable. It gives a vizier an acceptable answer, something his mind can latch onto, even if it's temporary. It satisfies that immediate demand for information without giving anything real away. She's still controlling the story, even when cornered.
Clever. But just if she handles that, something else starts brewing. A rumor.
Ah, the whispers.
Yeah. A servant apparently saw her washing in the bathhouse and starts whispering that maybe this new champion, Zarrin-Mard, is actually a woman.
And that's where things get really dangerous. Because it connects dots.
How so?
Well, remember the vizier's initial thought. Too perfect. Now, there's this rumor. It might seem small, but it acts like confirmation bias for him. It fits his underlying suspicion. It shows how fragile the whole deception is. One little contradictory detail starts to align with another, and suddenly that doubt isn't just a feeling, it's building into a theory. Evidence, almost.
And that whisper spreads like crazy. Guards hear it, nobles. And Zarrin-Banu overhears someone talking about it. She realizes the disguise is seriously compromised. The story builds to this incredibly suspenseful point. Zarrin-Banu is alone in a dark palace corridor, torchlight flickering everywhere, and she hears footsteps approaching.
Guards.
The net is closing in.
Totally. And from somewhere nearby, Jahangir just mutters urgently, Zarrin's time to run. The scene just hangs there.
Yeah.
On her face, hand on her sword. The tension is just,
Yeah.
I'll leave you hanging. It really does. And what's so striking throughout is just the sheer audacity of it all. Her resourcefulness. She's constantly pushing the boundaries of what seems possible. But it also highlights that immense psychological toll. Maintaining that false front under scrutiny that just keeps getting tighter and tighter. She's gone from actively infiltrating to just trying to react and survive.
Yeah, exactly. Her deception was bold, incredibly bold, but now it's really just hanging by a thread right there in Turan's court. The whispers aren't just whispers anymore. They feel like a direct threat. Could unravel everything. So the big question is, can she possibly outwit them now? Can she escape with Bahram, or is the secret finally going to bring her down?
A real cliffhanger.
Definitely. So as we wrap up this deep dive, here's something to think about. Consider the risks Zarrin-Banu took, the incredibly personal stakes. How do you weigh that kind of direct, high-risk approach? Sneaking into an enemy palace against maybe more subtle, slower strategies, especially when someone you love on the line. Is there a point where the really dangerous path is the only path? Or can cleverness always find a safer way? It's that question of strategy, isn't it? Under the most intense pressure you can imagine. What would you choose?